If I asked you which of these two houses is more energy efficient, you'd probably think about solar panels or insulation or maybe the windows. But what if I told you the answer is already decided before a single brick is laid, just by the shape of the building? This is one of the most overlooked principles in passive design. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Welcome back. In this channel, we talk about how to design buildings that work with nature, not against it. And today we're going deep on one concept that shapes everything else in passive design: building form. By the end of this video, you're going to understand why architects obsess over the shape of a building plan, how the surface area of your house directly controls how much heat you gain or lose, and which shapes perform best in hot climates, cold climates, and mixed climates. When architects talk about building form, they mean the overall three-dimensional shape of a structure: its footprint, its height, its compactness. And form isn't just aesthetic. Form is physics. Every surface of your building, every wall, every roof, every floor is in contact with the outside environment. And heat moves across surfaces. So the more surface area you have relative to your volume, the more heat exchange happens between inside and outside. The metric we use to measure this is called the surface-to-volume ratio, or SVR. It's just what it sounds like: the total exposed surface area of a building divided by its total volume. Let's make this real. Imagine two buildings, both with exactly 200 cubic meters of space inside. The first one is a simple cube, compact, tight, efficient. The second is a long, thin rectangle, same volume, but spread out. The thin rectangle has 40% more exposed surface area than the cube for the same amount of usable space. That means 40% more wall, more roof, more interface with the outside climate. In a hot climate, that's 40% more heat gain. In a cold climate, that's 40% more heat loss. The compact cube is, from a pure heat transfer standpoint, the more efficient form. This is why the SVR is one of the first numbers a passive house designer checks. Lower SVR equals more compact equals more thermally efficient. This rule applies globally. Here's a fun way to think about it. The geometric shape with the absolute lowest surface-to-volume ratio, meaning the most compact form possible, is a sphere. That's why igloos are dome-shaped. That's why traditional homes in cold climates tend to be squat and rounded. Nature already figured this out. Of course, we don't build spheres. But the principle holds. The closer your building is to a compact, convex, simple shape, the lower the SVR and the easier it is to control the internal temperature passively. Before we continue, I want to thank today's sponsor, HomeDesigns.ai. One of the biggest challenges when designing a house is actually visualizing different building forms and layouts before construction begins. With HomeDesigns.ai, you can instantly generate design concepts, experiment with different building shapes, explore facade options, and test ideas in seconds using AI. And the AI generates redesigned concepts almost instantly. If you want to try it yourself, check out HomeDesigns.ai through the link in the description. In a hot, arid climate, your enemy is solar radiation. The sun beats down hard, the ground reflects heat, and you desperately want shade and thermal mass. Here, the best building forms are compact with inward-facing courtyards. The courtyard house is the genius solution to this problem. The outer walls are nearly windowless, minimizing heat gain from outside. The courtyard in the center creates a shaded microclimate. At night, the courtyard radiates heat away to the sky. This is passive cooling through form, not technology. Hot, humid climates have a different problem. It's not just heat, it's heat and moisture. Your body can't cool itself through sweating when the air is already saturated. So the priority shifts from blocking heat to maximizing airflow. In this climate, the ideal building form is actually more elongated, oriented along the east-west axis, so the long face looks north and south. Because north and south walls receive less direct sun. And a narrower floor plan, typically 6 to 8 meters wide, means cross-ventilation can carry a breeze from one side of the house to the other. Buildings in hot, humid climates are also often elevated off the ground on stilts. This is form working at multiple scales, The shape of the plan, the cross-section, and the site relationship all tuned to maximize airflow. In cold climates, the mission is the opposite. Keep heat in. Here, compactness is king. You want the lowest possible SVR, which means a simple, tight building with minimal protrusions, recesses, or complex geometry. The south-facing facade becomes your solar collector. In the northern hemisphere, a building elongated slightly on the east-west axis, with a large south face, can passively collect enormous amounts of winter sun through well-designed glazing. This is called solar gain, and it can dramatically reduce or even eliminate the need for mechanical heating. Look at traditional homes in Ladakh in northern India. They're 2 to 3 stories, compact, with thick south-facing walls and deep-set windows. Every element of the form is designed to capture winter sun and resist cold winds, without a single electric heater. One of the most common floor plan shapes in residential design today is the L shape or U shape. They look great on paper. They create interesting exterior forms. They make room for a garden corner. They feel dynamic. But thermally, they're a nightmare. Every time you add a wing, a notch, a protrusion, you increase surface area without increasing volume proportionally. Your SVR shoots up. In a hot climate, that extra wall means extra heat gain on the inner corners where walls face each other and create heat traps. In a cold climate, those same corners are where heat bleeds out fastest. There's a common assumption that taller buildings are more efficient because they have a smaller footprint. And in very dense urban contexts, this can be true. But in a hot climate with good land availability, a tall, thin building actually has a very high SVR, with more roof and wall area per floor of usable space. A low, wide building with good shading and cross-ventilation often outperforms a tall, skinny one thermally. The vernacular wisdom of building low in hot climates wasn't aesthetic, it was climatic. Here's a mistake that comes from not thinking about building shape and time, not just space. East and west walls receive low-angle morning and afternoon sun that's extremely hard to shade with standard overhangs. Because the sun is low on the horizon, even a deep overhang doesn't help much. South-facing walls, in the northern hemisphere, receive high-angle sun that's easy to shade in summer with a horizontal overhang. So a building that minimizes its east and west wall area and maximizes its north and south faces is already winning on passive performance before any system is added. Building shape is one of those things that's invisible when you don't know to look for it, and once you know, it's everywhere. You'll start walking down the street and noticing which buildings are fighting their climate and which are working with it. And you'll start to see that a lot of the glass and steel boxes being built across South Asian cities right now, they're ignoring all of this. They're designed for aesthetics and for air conditioning. And that's a massive missed opportunity. If this video made you think about buildings differently, that's exactly what this channel is for. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And drop a comment below. What's one building near you, old or new, that you think gets its shape right?